Welcome to Ghouls Night Out with your hostesses, Brandy and Jody.
Hello, beautiful ghouls. Welcome. This is Brandy. I am here with my sister, Jody.
Hello.
So I have a riddle.
Okay.
There's a one-story house in which everything is yellow. Yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What color are the stairs?
It's only a one-story house.
It's a one-story house.
Woohoo! I'm not stupid! This week.
Okay, and then I have, speaking of stupid, I have stupid customer stories.
Oh, no.
First one, I worked in a restaurant for a while, and a woman climbed past an A board sign, ignored the sign on the door saying the opening times, and trotted on in. When told we were not open, she asked why the door was unlocked. My manager explained that it has to be unlocked when people are in the building to comply with fire regulations, which led to my favorite exchange with a customer. Woman, but there are no people in here. Manager, madam, the staff counts as people. Woman, that's ridiculous, and storms out.
Oh, my God. Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just...
He didn't say customers. He said people.
I know! What the fuck? Oh, my gosh. Just buckle up, because these are horrible. Okay, we opened at 11 this morning. I watched an old man literally pry the fucking sliding doors open at 10:43 and stand there just staring into an empty store, and my coworkers and I were like, "Sir." That was it. What the fuck?
Gosh.
Once had to remake a man's nasty foot-long sub 3 times because I cut it into 1/4 instead of just half, and it, quote, wouldn't fill him up if he had to eat it in 1/4.
What?
It's
the same size.
What? Okay, we don't even do math, and we get that.
Gosh.
I know for a fact I've told this story before, but I'll never get over the time when I was working retail and I was cashing out some lady. So I asked, cash, debit, or credit, how you paying, ma'am? And she said, that's none of your business, and demanded to speak to a manager about my invasive question.
What?
Oh my God. Oh my God, what is wrong with people?
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Exactly. Next one. Why did I have a customer that hole punched his credit card's chip out because he, quote, didn't want a chip, and then didn't understand why I couldn't process his transaction?
Gosh. If you don't want a fucking chip, then don't get a credit card.
Oh my God. Giant poster, $1.99 fish and fry. There's a picture of the meal as served, 1 fish and 1 order of fries. Guest, so what comes in the fish and fry? Me, the $1.99 fish and fry has 1 piece of fish and 1 order of fries. Guest, and how much is that?
I need to tell you this before I forget.
Okay.
I told you about me kind of getting in trouble last week.
Oh, yeah?
The one of the other ladies for the same company that I talked to every now and then, she sent me an email that said, she's like, oh, by the way, she goes, I wanted to tell you this last week, but just between me and you, Shelley is mean and evil and not a happy person, so don't take whatever happens seriously.
That's awesome.
I know. I
Oh
started
my gosh.
cracking up when I read that. I was like, yes.
Yeah, seriously. That is great.
So even the people she works with
Yeah.
are like, she's an evil bitch, so don't even worry about it. I mean, I wasn't, but, you know.
Yeah.
It was nice to
Yeah.
hear.
Okay, next one. Hello. Today, a woman got huffy with me because she didn't know saber-toothed cats were extinct and expected the museum to have a live one on display.
Oh my gosh.
That's super
Okay,
safe.
first of all, yeah, they don't exist, but it's not a fucking zoo.
Exactly. It's a museum. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh, I could not work with the public like that.
Oh, no.
my god. I
no.
would be
And I now
fired
I
so fast.
yeah, and I kind of understand why there's an employee shortage because people are sick of it.
Yeah.
Next one, please fire me. A lady came in screaming and ranting about how we wrote an obscene insult on her sandwich. Turns out she ordered a BLT with cheese. We wrote BLT plus CH on it.
Yeah, I've seen a post like that before.
Yeah. It took me and a manager 15 minutes just to calm her down enough to even listen to us. And someone commented, sounds like she was a real BLT with cheese.
That's great.
I know.
That's why she was so upset, because she knew it was true.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Next one. Y'all, a customer's total was $12.49. He gave me $12.50 and said keep the change.
Wow.
Oh my god. Okay, next one. This one is listen. Oh, I've got one in this vein. A lady called our company wanting us to come steam clean her tile floors, but refused to give her address, instead demanding that we do it at our location, and hung up when I tried to explain that her floors were attached to her house.
That can't be true. That cannot be true.
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? People are fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Next one, customer tries to get out of tipping me by saying I don't speak English. So I show him and say tip/money. He still acts like he doesn't get it and says, how do you say French? Francois? Is that how you say it?
Francais?
Francais? So I don't know. So I start talking in French. He freezes the fuck up because he doesn't speak French, broke ass.
Motherfucker.
Next one, I had a customer ask me if they had to see the first 3 Fantastic Four to understand the 4th.
Wow.
Oh my god. And this one I'm pretty sure I've read before, but it's just great. I love it. This is a conversation. So, client, do you do lemonade? Me, do we do lemonade? Client, yes, I was told you do that here. Me, I'm sorry, this is a graphics and print shop. Client, I know that, I'm not an idiot. Me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Client, look, if you can't lemonade these papers for me, then I'll go somewhere else. Me, oh, do you mean laminate?
Lemonade. That is exactly how conversation would go if it was me too.
Yeah.
It would go exactly that way. How can it go any other way?
Do we do lemonade? What? This is a graphics and print shop. What the fuck? Okay, next one. Today a customer told me to remake his drink without even trying it because he said it looked too watery. My coworker then took the drink, hid it away from the window for 10 seconds, and gave it back the same drink, and then he said, "That's better."
Oh my god.
Dumbass. This one's very similar. One time had a customer that kept complaining that his milkshake was too thick, and we ended up having to just put milk with flavoring, and he said, "Finally, why couldn't you make it like this in the first place?" Because that's chocolate milk. Most likely. Next one. This one, looks like a review, possibly. Okay. Had a new refrigerator delivered today, and they had the nerve to send me one that wasn't pre-cooled.
What?
I obviously denied the refrigerator and sent it back. I didn't spend $1,460 for a warm box. I want my fridge to be cold when it arrives. Duh. The dumb driver looked at me like I'm the bad guy. What happened to customer service? What happened to the customer is always right? Customer service has really gone down the drain. Oh my God. You know, I just ordered, I might have told you this, but I just ordered some more of those lights that they're like LED, and so the sun heats them and then they light up at night, like the little stakes.
Solar.
Yeah. Well, when they come, the stake part is upside down, so it's not like sharp, you know, so you have to take out the stake and turn it around and stick it back in there, and then you can put it in the ground.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading the reviews before I got this, and some guy took a picture of the blunt part, and he was like, you have to dig holes to get these in the ground. I was like, oh my God, please somebody tell him. It's bad.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. This next one is actually just a picture of a receipt that they bought Lego, and they were returning it. And the reason was, didn't know Legos came in pieces.
What?
Yes.
Has this person been living under a rock?
Like, I think so.
That's literally why you get the Legos.
I'm aware. Yeah.
So you can put it together.
Oh my gosh. Next one, had a customer yell at me because he didn't believe me that 33 cents 3 times was about $1 and not $3.
What?
Next one, if you're wondering what it's like to work in hospitality, today a customer complained that her milkshake had milk in it. Oh my gosh. Last week I had a woman yell at me for putting a straw in her soda cup because, quote, we need to save our oceans. Then she proceeded to order about $55 party boat of raw fish because this is a fucking sushi bar.
Oh my gosh.
But we need to save the ocean! No straws! Oh my God. Next one, just heard a customer 2 aisles over go, hey, I think this is that special glass that doesn't shatter when you drop it, followed by a sound of shattering glass. Oh my God. Next one, people will really be like, oh my God, I can't believe you have to work on Thanksgiving. You should be at home with your family while I'm scanning their shit. Like, you're the reason. Go home.
Yeah.
Next one, I think the closest I came to breaking down at work is when I had a customer who wanted the ice in their drink to stay at the bottom of the glass and couldn't understand why I kept telling them that it wasn't possible. And they kept asking me if I was stupid.
Oh my gosh.
What the fuck? Have they never had ice before?
What the hell?
Like,
these are people that are all around us.
I know.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too. Next one. The other day, a man signed up for our Advantage card and I asked for his email. He looked at me and goes, no, I have a Gmail. I don't even know what an email is. And I was just so in awe for a moment. I just smiled and enthusiastically replied, it's okay, that works. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, what the fuck? This customer dead ass just called and said, hey, I was going to return some shoes to y'all, but my car was stolen with the shoes in it. So what can you do for me? Because it ain't my fault.
How about nothing?
I just hang up. I would just hang up. Next one. So I was at Walmart earlier. A lady was looking at frozen turkeys, but couldn't find one big enough. She asked the stock boy, "Do these turkeys get any bigger?" He replied with a straight face, "No, ma'am, they're dead." Made my week.
Oh, that's great. That's a good comeback.
Yeah. We had a customer complain that the axe they bought from us was too sharp. Quote, "Nobody needs an axe that sharp."
If it was dull, they'd be complaining because
They'd be like,
it
"What
was
the
too
fuck?
dull.
This isn't cutting anything." Why? Because nobody needs an axe that sharp. So stupid. Next one, customer pointing at a price tag. "Is this the price?" Me, "Yes." The customer, "Is it on sale?" Me, "No." Customer, "Is there a special discount?" Me, "Well, now that you ask, you just unlock the super secret discount that if it costs nothing, you don't buy it and just leave." Oh my God. Okay, next one. I just had a 20-minute conversation explaining to a customer what chicken wings were.
Oh my gosh.
Then someone commented, "Did you say that they were the wings from a chicken?" And that person replied, "Didn't work."
Wow.
And my last one. Today a customer got mad at me because we don't have spaghetti on the kids' menu. I work at a Mexican restaurant. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. People who watch security cameras for a living are sharing their weirdest things they've ever witnessed. Okay. I worked as a harbor master a while ago, so I had to check the marina cameras after a boat was abandoned at our docks. I was looking for the owner, so I checked the tape before the boat's first night in the marina. In the footage, the man who had sailed the boat stood on the end of the boat for 2 hours, barely moving. Then at 1:30 a.m., he just walked off the back and dropped into the water. He never came back up, never found his body. Freaky.
What?
That is weird.
Ew.
Stood there for 2 hours.
You could have stopped at that and I would have been fucking freaked
Yeah.
out. But then he just walked off the back? Oh my
Into
God.
the water.
What the fuck? Ew,
Weird.
what? That is creepy.
It was a merman.
Holy shit. Oh God.
On security footage, I've mostly just seen lots of sex.
Oh.
I've had to turn on the microphone and tell them to stop it or they'll be thrown out of the college gym. Damn college kids.
That's hilarious.
I was a security coordinator for a large electric company, and one time I was doing a maintenance check on some random train station at like 3 a.m. I panned a camera as far to the right as possible to check that it was functioning, and this dude was on all fours eating a deer in the middle of the tracks. Watched him for like 10 minutes and went to get the other guy on shift, but when I came back, the dude was gone. I rewound the tape, and the dude stopped munching on the carcass, wiped the gore off his face, and walked into the woods like he didn't have a care in the world.
Oh my God. I just did that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Creepy.
I was working at a pub in Sydney watching the CCTV when I saw a guy continually cross and uncross his legs while playing a slot machine. After a few minutes, he walked to a corner of the room, took a shit, and then proceeded to go back to playing his machine.
No. No. You know, that's my thing. When I go to a casino, I always look on the floor everywhere to see if people drop money. Oh my God, I would notice that.
That's just why. They have bathrooms.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, this one's funny. My brother's friend used to watch security cameras at an amusement park. In the park, there was one of those riverboat rides which had hidden cameras.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna, you know.
To prevent people from pissing in the water, vandalizing, etc. One day, a couple hopped on the ride, and the girl started giving her boyfriend a blowjob.
Oh.
When they finished, the girl leaned over the side of the boat to spit. Now, in the event of any bodily fluids getting into the water, there is a whole process that must be followed involving draining the whole river and decontaminating the ride. It takes a long time, and all the employees hate it. So as soon as my brother's friend saw her about to spit, he grabbed the intercom to the ride and shouted, "Spitters are quitters! Spitters are quitters!" She panicked, having no idea anyone was watching, and swallowed it.
No! Oh my god!
Spitters are quitters!
Oh my gosh. I feel like, fuck you, I'm a quitter.
I thought that was hilarious. I used to do asset protection for a Walmart in a very heroin-addicted area.
Oh, shit.
The creepiest thing was seeing how fast someone would go from completely normal to absolutely out of it in the span of a year because of the drug. Mm-hmm. You could build a timeline of their demise through CCTV pictures and video. One man in particular really stood out to me. The first time I apprehended him, he was very polite and intelligent, just stealing to get his fix. A year later, and the fourth time I caught him, he was basically a shell of a man. He tried running from me, so I looked him right in the eyes and said, "I know you, Gary," last name. "Please don't run." The look on his face of someone knowing him who he couldn't even remember will always stay with me.
That's really sad.
That is very sad. It's not my job, but my SO.
Significant other, I think.
Okay. And I have the owlet monitor for our infant looking at his crib and room. It's set up like CCTV, and it's creepy to begin with. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m., went to check on my son, and I went back to bed. Once in bed, I got on my phone to view the monitor just for reassurance. 2 light dots, like eyes, in night vision in the window of his room.
Ew.
I quickly went in the room to check everything out. I couldn't see anything outside, so I turned on the monitor again. There was nothing. I went back to bed. I woke up again an hour later to check the monitor, and the dots were there again. So I grabbed a pistol and went outside around his room. I didn't find anything, but the monkey grass had been mashed down by that window like something had sat there for a while. I set up a sleeping bag in my son's room after that for a couple nights. I never saw those lights again.
Ooh,
That's
what?
creepy. That gave me chills.
Well, if it is something that would like reflect in the night vision, isn't that an animal?
Yeah, I don't think people have... There's something in your eye that causes that, and I don't think it's in people. I think it's only in animals. So it...
Ew.
I think. I'm not positive, though. I don't know.
Creepy.
It was a werewolf. We have an old fountain at my apartment building that has a large eagle statue. One night, I had to check the security cameras because of a break. Oh my god. I'm not even drinking. One night, I had to check the security cameras because of a break-in, and at 2 a.m., I came across footage of about 5 guys taking turns humping the eagle. One of them even stole the Santa hat I had on it.
What? What?
So stupid.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is that what boys do when they get together?
I
Go
guess.
hump things?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
I used to work IT at a university, and last Easter we had a break-in. We found the footage of the guy going in at 2 p.m., leaving at around 3, and not really taking anything. Fast forward to 7 p.m., and the guy comes back in and walks around the auditorium until 6 a.m. the next morning. In that time, he proceeded to strip into his underwear, steal and wear a mask, and smoke a shit ton. He managed to steal 6 full bags of random items. It was bizarre.
Weird.
I was a property manager at a giant apartment complex for a year. Part of my job was taking complaints that came in during my off hours and reviewing the tapes to see what the cameras caught. We got calls for people having sex in the spa lot, and this was one of those times. I got the form out to issue the warning when the maintenance supervisor noticed something. He zoomed all the way in, and across the property he could see a woman we all knew sitting on her patio smoking a cigarette and watching. Then we noticed there was a glow of a small red light. She was videotaping
What?
the whole thing. What makes it weirder is that this lady was a pastor at the local church.
Oh my gosh, what?
Creepy. Sit there and watch and then go complain about it
Yeah.
and videotape it for later. I had security cameras installed on my property whilst we were living in South Africa. We had a monitor set up next to the bed so we could see what was happening on the 4 cameras without having to get up. One night we heard something, so we turned on the monitor but saw nothing unusual. I was ready to go back to sleep, but my partner thought something was off about one of the cameras. She thought it seemed like one was facing a slightly different direction, so she started watching the recordings. Sure enough, we found footage of some dude prowling around the property and adjusting our camera. The terrifying bit? The way his face looked beneath the...
Baklava. Oh, balaclava?
I
Balaclava?
don't even know what that is.
That's that thing that like covers your face, like the
Oh, okay. The way his face... I don't understand.
I can cut that out if you want.
Do you understand?
I mean, I guess his face looked creepy, but they didn't talk about it.
I know. They didn't, describe it or anything. All right.
And said, take their word for it.
Okay.
It was terrifying.
I'm not in security, but I work for a bank, and part of my job is checking the cameras in the morning. Last week, I saw a ping on our back entrance camera, and when I went to watch the video, it was a guy I didn't recognize. He was pacing back and forth in front of the door at 3 a.m. for a solid 20 minutes. Every couple minutes, he'd stop, walk up to the door, stare into the camera, and then he'd go back to pacing. A car eventually went by, and that must have set something in him off because he ran away and didn't come back.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Weird.
My first job out of college was doing electrical engineering and security system design for a big security company. One of the first assignments I had was assisting in writing a report about a security system for a nuclear storage facility we had designed that had been infiltrated by nuns. No joke. Basically, the facility got invaded by octogenarian nuns who started covering the nuclear storage facility in blood they had conveniently provided in water bottles. The footage was jarring in quite a few ways.
Ooh.
And this is the last one.
Okay.
I once saw a chicken walk up the side of a tree at 2 a.m.
What? What?
I once saw a chicken walk up the side of a tree at 2 a.m.
No, you didn't. What? What? That doesn't happen, though. That's crazy. Okay, I just have some creepy stories. First one, I was camping at a friend's family property with a group of friends. They had a huge, creepy shop. We stayed up late drinking by the fire, and I was the last one awake. I went to go pee on the side of the shop and stood about 5 feet away looking inside through the window. I noticed what looked like a piece of paper floating around. I thought it was a moth at first, but it was moving in a very rhythmic figure 8 pattern. Then it quickly floated back to the corner of the shop where it was dark. I sat back down by the fire to finish my beer and have a smoke. No one else was awake, so I played Robot Unicorn Attack 2 on my phone for a while. I noticed my friend Mark pop out of his tent to pee, then go back in to go to sleep. The next morning we were having breakfast, and Mark said, I saw you guys sitting by the fire super late. How late did you guys stay up? I told him it was probably 2 or 3 a.m. When he asked who was up with me, I told him I was alone. He said, I got up to pee and saw you on your phone, and 2 people were over your shoulder watching you play. He said one person looked bigger, so he thought it was one of our friends who was a bigger dude. He said that the other person was taller and skinny, but none of us were noticeably tall or skinny.
Weird.
Creepy. I think 2 ghosts just watching him play a game on his phone.
That's weird.
That is weird. Next one, my brother's bedroom was right next to mine growing up. One afternoon, he asked me what I was doing the previous night that made me laugh so much. Confused, I pressed him for details. He said that at 3 a.m. at night, my laughter woke him up. It sounded like I was pacing the room, too. His face went pale when I told him I had been at a friend's house that night. To this day, he swears that it was my laugh.
Ugh. I just got chills on that one.
Creepy.
Ew. At first, I was thinking, well, maybe he was just laughing in his sleep,
Yeah, I mean,
but he wasn't.
he wasn't there. Next one, my grandmother suffered a major stroke in 2012, resulting in hospice in her home. One night I was sitting at home in my office catching up on some work when all of a sudden the room filled with the scent of perfume. I'm not talking about a faint smell, I'm saying it was very distinctive and strong throughout the entire room. I stopped everything I was doing and said out loud, "Something is wrong, that's Graham." I had not spoken to my family that day, but felt an urge to send a text message to my uncle who was staying with her. This was at 11:20 p.m. I got a response right away saying, "Might want to come say goodbye, not okay." I quickly rushed over. Without saying anything, I walked straight to my grandmother, kissed her on the forehead, saying I love her. She was still warm but no longer breathing. I told my uncle that I was there because Grandma had brought me there. I asked when she had passed, and he replied saying 5 minutes before I sent my text. This puts the perfume in my office at nearly the exact same moment.
Aww.
That's sad. Next one, the house I grew up in was haunted. Late at night, I would hear someone pacing circles in the living room, but I was the only one awake, and we didn't have any pets. I never said anything because I didn't want my family to think I was nuts. Eventually, I moved out and went to college. After I graduated, I was in a rough spot financially. My parents had bought a new house and offered to let me stay in the old one for a while they considered renters. When I said no, my mom asked why. I finally gave in and told her what I had heard. My mom froze and turned to look at me. Turns out she had also heard it for years and didn't say anything for the same reason. Communication, people, your family.
That would drive me nuts. I would have to go out and see what it was.
I would have to at least talk to someone about it.
Yeah.
Next one, when I was 14, my friend and I rode mountain bikes way out in the woods. We must have been 2 miles from any houses and decided to turn back and go home for the day. Walking up the hill we had just ridden down, we saw this old guy with miner clothes from the 1800s carrying a bucket. He was walking up the hill with his back towards us, but only for a few seconds before he disappeared. We were both silent until I said I thought I saw something. He did too, and perfectly described the guy. We got out of there quickly. This was in northern Arizona, where they used to mine gold. About a mile away, there was an old miner's cabin. That's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 7 or 8, I was at my grandmother's house for Christmas. I played hide and seek with some of my cousins. Most of us were staying the night, but for some reason, no one ever stayed in the fourth bedroom. It was around 8 p.m., and it was my turn to count, so I went into the fourth room to do so. I sat on the bed, closed my eyes, and counted to 20. When I opened my eyes, it was light out. I closed my eyes at night, counted to 20, and somehow 12 hours had passed. Of course, the immediate thought was that maybe I'd just fallen asleep. I'll refute that with 3 points. First, why didn't my cousins come get me when I failed to seek them out? Second, it was cold in that house. We would sleep multiple people in a bed under several blankets, at least one of which was usually electric. I can't imagine sleeping through the night in that kind of cold without some kind of covering. And third, there's no way my parents wouldn't have bothered to come find me before they went to sleep, and when they did find me, they wouldn't have left me there, especially without a blanket. I can't tell you what happened. Maybe I had some sort of strange memory lapse that just happened to begin and end in the same location. Maybe the simulation lagged. Maybe I really did skip 12 hours. All I can say for sure is that something happened that night, and I've never been able to explain it.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
That would freak me out.
I know. I was just thinking about that. Like, what would I do if? I mean, no memory of 12 hours? No, thank you. Next one. When my middle child was about 3, we lived in an old house with a lot of poorly done self-renovations. It had an under-house storage workshop area accessible from one of the bedrooms. This workshop had a hatch door to the dirt under the house. My daughter always used to complain about the blue lady that lived under the house. We moved, and I never heard about it again.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yikes. Next one, when I was like 3 or 4, my mom said I used to talk to something or someone in the corner of my room. I would sit down and hold a conversation for hours. My mom would ask me who I was talking to. Then one day I said, Grandpa. I then mentioned something very specific about him. I think it was his mustache and something about a joke he used to tell. There was no way for me to know any of this because he died 3 years earlier and I hadn't been old enough. I hadn't been told about him yet, nor seen his picture. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Next one, when my mom retired, she got very into family history. At some point, she obtained the diary of my dad's mother, Nan. Nan was an intensely private person and never wanted anyone knowing her business. One night, my dad was away, so my mother sat down to read the diary. It started raining, nothing unusual since they lived on the coast. She got up and closed a few windows before going back to the diary. The rain turned into a storm, so she got up to shut the windows in the other rooms, too, before returning to her reading. Suddenly, the intercom to her right turned on. They lived in a house originally built by an electrician, so every room had one. Every intercom in the house was on. When she went to turn the others off, she noticed all the pictures on the walls were askew, all at similar angles, not random. Meanwhile, the storm worsened. As she stood there taking it all in, an intense gust of wind rattled the windows from one end of the house to the other, as if a speeding train went past on the balcony outside. She walked calmly upstairs, shut the diary, put it in the cupboard, and said, "Sorry, Nan," to the empty room. The storm died down. She fixed all the pictures. That's that. Here's the kicker. Someone from her work lived on the same street. When she saw him the next day, she mentioned the storm. The guy looks at her funny and asked what storm she was talking about. He had dinner on the balcony that night, and there hadn't been a storm at any point. Creepy. Wouldn't that be weird if they could, make us see things? Ooh, I don't like that. Next one, several years ago, I had a reoccurring dream about burning alive in a hotel. It was so realistic I could feel the pain and hear screams. Each dream would be more and more detailed. In my last one, I could even make out the exact details of the building. When my family went on vacation, we stopped in a small city and looked for a place to stay. We stopped at the exact hotel in my dream. I just froze and repeatedly asked if we could go somewhere else. After continuously pestering my parents about it, we went to a different hotel. It burned down the night we were supposed to stay there and killed 14 people.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
That would flip. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would die.
I'd be freaking out.
Especially if, you were that person's parent.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, freaking out. And then
Yeah.
Ooh, God. Okay. Next one. When I was a kid, I lived with just my mom. Every few nights after she went to bed and turned off the TVs, I'd hear a man and woman casually having a quiet conversation in our kitchen. I always had to concentrate really hard to make sure I was actually hearing something because it was so faint I couldn't make out the words. This continued for years, and I thought my mom wouldn't believe me if I told her. After we moved out, I finally mentioned it. She said she'd always experienced the same thing. Again, communication.
There's a lot of people that do not talk to each other.
Well, and I kind of understand because you think you're going nuts. I don't think anybody, or very, very rarely, someone's first thought is like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next one. Back in 2001, my wife and I were watching the first ever episode of The Amazing Race while my son played on the floor. I thought that my mom, who passed away a year prior, would have loved this. As soon as I had that thought, a cold chill ran up my body. At the same time, my wife said, "This is something you and your mom would have done, and probably won." Right then, my son, who was about 1.5 years old, started waving at the ceiling, saying bye-bye. He often talked to the ceiling, so we started asking who was there, what they were saying, just kind of playing along with his game. He wasn't saying real words yet, but we wanted to encourage talking. When I asked him, the closest I can spell of what it sounded like was ANNEL or ANYUL. An L, maybe? A few months later, I was laying on the floor looking through an old photo album. My son came walking over, saying hi and laughing. I said hi back, but he wasn't talking to me. He started chatting with a picture in the album and was waving and talking to it. It was my mom's graduation picture from nursing school. He had first met my mom when he was 6 months old, and only a couple of times between then and when she passed. I asked if he knew who that was, and he put a finger right in the middle of the picture and said, Anul, or whatever. He knew what angels were. Is that what he was saying? I don't know. Anyul. 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 I wonder what his mom's name was.
I don't know.
Very interesting. You think he was trying to say angel?
Could have been.
Now I want to know what that woman's name was. And I want to know what she would have wanted her grandkids to call her.
Yeah.
Anyway. My brother was working as a night porter at an old hotel from the 18th century in the northern English countryside. One night, a woman came down to the reception as white as a sheet, saying she couldn't sleep and didn't want to stay there. When my brother inquired as to why, she said she could hear children laughing all night and that a child had entered her room with a candle, stood at the foot of her bed, and wouldn't leave. My brother mentioned this to his manager the following morning and was told that it was a regular occurrence. Before it was a hotel over 100 years ago, it was a school.
Oh.
That's so sad. Next one, I had just started a new job in a really old building. I had to stay a bit later than I normally would, and by the time I was packing up to leave, my floor was pretty empty. I needed to use the restroom, and as I approached the door, I saw someone else open it and go in. I remember vividly that they were wearing a pink shirt and khakis, because that's what I was wearing too. I was also mildly annoyed because I didn't like being in the bathroom when someone else was in there. After deciding I still definitely needed to pee before the commute home, I went in. The bathroom was completely empty. I don't know how to describe the energy in the room, but it was very tense, completely silent. I remember being able to hear my heartbeat. After standing completely frozen for what felt like 10 minutes, it was probably like 15 seconds, I turned right around and left. I had nightmares about that bathroom for weeks. Like nothing happened.
Well, see, I would have just had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I would have peed,
Yeah.
definitely. Next one, I was house sitting for my biological mom and stepdad back in June and was on a video call with my best friend. I was the only living person in that house, but my best friend said there was a woman standing behind me in the kitchen while I was sitting on the couch with my laptop on my lap.
I like those.
No! Next one. I used to work night shift in group homes. One night I was watching TV in the living room after all the residents had fallen asleep. Around 3 a.m., the doorbell started ringing like someone was frantically pushing it. I answered, but no one was there. This entryway was very hard to ding-dong ditch. The walkway on the front door is a 20 to 30-foot corridor with a 12-foot brick wall on either side. So you'd have to run back that entire length and duck around a corner. I still figured I was being pranked by one or more of the mischievous residents, though, so I checked on them. They were all fast asleep. As soon as I finished shutting the last resident's door, the doorbell started frantically ringing again. Still nobody. This time I was determined to catch them, so I turned all the lights off and hid right beside the door. After 20 minutes, the doorbell started going insane again, so I jumped out and turned on the walkway lights, but no one was there. I opened the door, thinking maybe they were hiding in the side of the door like I was. After seeing nobody there, my stomach dropped and I got the feeling of dread. I slowly started closing the door, but when it was almost closed all the way, the doorbell started going nuts again and stayed that way for at least 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It was almost as if whatever it was took great pleasure in mocking and taunting me. I locked the door and ran my ass to the couch, turning on all the lights I could. Another disturbing thing about this is it seemed to read my mind. Whenever I got the urge to go outside and smoke, it would start with the doorbell again. It's like it didn't want me to forget it's there and that it was a threat.
Ugh.
Creepy. What is that?
That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. Definitely. And then, even then I would be like, okay, the doorbell's broken.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I would do anything not to, freak myself out. Like, we're like, I don't need it. I'll just quit smoking. I was going to quit anyway. Like, that's my idea. Okay, this is my last one. Me and my family went on a holiday to Indonesia in 2019, and I shared a room with my sister. The first morning, she mentioned that in the night, she'd seen someone walk across our room and stare out the window. She'd even heard the floorboards creak as they moved. My sister gets sleep paralysis pretty regularly, so we shrugged it off. 2 days later, I woke up in the middle of the night to see someone sat at the end of my bed, hands cupping their face as they cried. I thought it was my sister and asked if she was okay. I froze as I realized I could see my sister tucked up in her bed out of the corner of my eye. The figure, which was like a living silhouette, was clearly female with long hair tied back in a ponytail. I just kind of slowly laid back down, took out my phone, and started watching YouTube videos. I know it sounds stupid, but I figured there wasn't much else to do. Every now and then I'd look up to see the figure still there and then went back to watching my videos. This lasted about a half an hour until I looked up and the woman was just gone.
Oh my gosh.
There's no fucking way I'd be like, okay, you stay there.
I would turn on the light.
I would run screaming. There's like, that's so scary. No. Okay.
All right, it's time for the witty wrap up.
Yay, whatever.
Funny tweets.
Okay.
The hospital sending me home with the whole baby honestly showed very poor judgment on their part.
Yeah, like what the fuck? They sent me home with 2.
That is the feeling you get, though.
Oh my God!
Like,
I know.
okay,
Especially
you've done everything. You've had the baby. Now you have to leave the hospital.
Yeah, and
they
just,
what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
they give you this tiny human, and they're like, "Here you go," and we're like,
Okay.
"What do I do now?"
What do I do this? I don't know.
I went straight to mommy's. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Hear me out. A new toddler clothing line called I Don't Need Help, where all the clothing is already inside out and always backwards.
And then somehow they'd put it on perfectly. That's great.
How to keep your home clean. 1, get your family out of the house. 2, clean. 3, never let your family back in the house.
Perfect. That is the only way.
My 10-year-old just told me a joke. What are a chocolate bar's pronouns? HerShe.
Oh my God. That is hilarious. Oh my God, I love it. That is hilarious. HerShe. Oh my gosh. I was going to name the episode Spitters or Quitters, but I might go with HerShe.
Gonna take my dad's skills to work and solve every conflict with the deep, loud, hey! That might work the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope no one finds out I have a family. Teenagers.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Kids be like, I see you've just made yourself comfortable. I have prepared a list of requests for your assistance.
My kids aren't that nice about it.
No one. Absolutely no one. My 5-year-old. You can touch my blood if you want.
Oh my God. What? You can touch my blood if you want? That's so nice.
This morning, my toddler informed me with great enthusiasm that when she grows up, she will drink coffee and go to the office. And it occurs to me that we're modeling some pretty grim behavior around here.
Oh my God. Why? She'll be caffeinated and paid.
Yay! That's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
As a parent, I was prepared for the boy to get into violent video games, but I was not prepared for him to become obsessed with a vineyard management sim called Terror and get upset about critics slagging off his Zinfandel.
What? Oh my my God. That is great.
Dining out with kids is a great way to practice talking in angry whispers.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Quiet, angry whispers.
Told you to sit down.
Like nobody can hear that. Oh my God.
One of my kids went into my bedroom with 2 enormous wedges of cheese. He's eating the cheese in my bedroom, right? He didn't bring a plate. The 13-year-old got a kazoo. Thoughts and prayers, please. A kazoo.
Yeah, who did that?
Me, please eat your sandwich. What my kid hears. Please reverse engineer your sandwich until it looks like the earth from which it came from. I got scolded by my daughter for using punctuation in a text message. It takes me about 3 minutes to make my 5-year-old a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is coincidentally the exact amount of time it takes my 5-year-old to decide she doesn't actually want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh my gosh.
My son didn't know the name for a clothes hanger, so I was pretty confused when he asked me for a pants hooker. Pants hooker.
Pants hooker.
Is that like a dinger or a...
Maybe.
What was the other one?
I don't. Belly
The
buzzer.
remote.
Tuner.
Tuner.
Pants hooker.
Babies recognize their mother's voices in the womb, so they can selectively block it when they're older.
Oh, that makes sense.
And this is my last one. It's crazy that it took like 10 months to come up with a COVID vaccine, but it's taken eternity, and still no one has come up with a sippy cup that doesn't leak.
Truth.
And that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Send in your stories. We need them. goalsnightoutpodcast@gmail.com. You can request to join the group on Facebook. Look us up on Facebook. I might want to say that. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later.
Bye.